Welcome in, trainers. I'm Professor Bohdi, and today, Area 0 is about to explode.
Professor, power levels at the crater are surging.
If our initial analysis is correct, today's Pokemon anomalies are the strongest to ever be recorded thus far. Alongside Professor Sada and Turo, we'll be flanked with prolific forces to wrangle the most dangerous batch of Paradox Pokemon we have ever encountered. Gear up, trainers. The mission starts now. May, a legendary trainer from the Hoenn region and owner of a unique alien Pokemon, has been in the crater for several days now, following a trail of fainted Pokemon. These victims all seem to have their physical forms altered by a primordial infection, from what we can tell anyway. It seems the creature drains their life force, but it can't be just that. When we revived a few of the fainted Mons, some returned with new moves or even had their type swapped. We'll meet with May at the rendezvous point where we'll corner the Paradox for an all-out attack. Make sure you keep your distance, trainer. Deoxys offered the opportunity to study the building blocks that make Pokemon so unique, and Splicer Flux is a direct look at the earliest form of life that may confirm our origins to be extraterrestrial. Splicer Flux is so ancient that modern Pokeball technology was unable to compute its DNA to be captured. Fortunately, with Beast Balls on hand, we were able to secure more accurately our first Paradox Ultra Beast. Deoxys' ancient ancestor was wreaking havoc in worlds far outside from our realm of existence, on planes accessible only through ultra wormholes. The crystal on their chest glow when it's able to skewer a victim with its limbs. We believe it stores segments of DNA from the Pokemon they absorb in it, which is then dispersed throughout its own body to further build its own genetic makeup. We will undergo no further testing and quarantine the creature indefinitely until we find a way to humanely send it back into the past. With the Paradox Deoxys sorted, we move away from UBs, although there is a connection here with Gladion, a talented trainer from Alola who is on the front line battling Ultra Beasts alongside his Silvally. He was called into Area 0 to help tame a Paradox that seems to resemble the Ether Foundation's Beast Killer, although the entity spotted appears to be a fusion far more grotesque than Type Null. Gladion's resolve is clear. He's already at the crater and has reported the howl of a creature that echoes with the distinct cry of multiple Pokemon, wailing in rage and pain. Let's get down there and figure this mess out, trainer.
Paradox of the past. Twisted Roar.
How it was achieved in the past needs further explaining, but there is no denying the transmutation we see before us. The front half of a Pyroar, the back half of a Gogoat, and the tail of a Seviper. This is Twisted Roar. Equally horrifying than this polymerization is the vice grip that keeps this Pokemon in eternal punishment, presumably to limit its power much akin to its modern-day counterpart, Type Null. The crystals that seem to act as a deterrent to its seemingly alchemic abilities are not any that I can recall having a modern-day counterpart. This leads me to believe it's an alien material that has instilled a UB spirit. I suspect it's held together by sheer will to survive and adrenaline, supplied not only as one entity, but as gruesome as it sounds, by 4 souls vying for control. We'll be working tirelessly to remove its chains and hope to help find them peace, and bring them closer to finding its purpose in life. Imagine our shock to find out that Top Officer Looker released Giovanni of Team Rocket to interrogate him about the rumors of a revived Project Mewtwo, the very operation that put him behind bars in the Kanto region in '98. The former Mafia boss denied any connection to a Pokemon that resembles the legendary Pokemon rumored to carry human DNA and that of Mew. I heard those debrief tapes featuring Giovanni. His voice carried fear. Whatever's waiting for us out there, trainer, is not his work, but that of forces malevolent from the far, far future. Trainers, we failed to capture Infinite Gene, the name given to a Pokemon who disintegrated a Master Ball thrown at it into powder, wrapped in a form of technology that we cannot comprehend. We can only presume they were born as a result of countless runs of gene mutilation and sequencing to create the ultimate life form. It seems that both forms of Mega Mewtwo X and Y were used to build the chassis, but we witnessed something we've never seen a future Paradox do. That is the cold exteriors that we expect from the steel of the future to be hard and rigid, but Infinite Gene was able to rearrange almost any part of its form into that of various Pokemon at will. The motion was almost like liquid metal. It's hard to say what exactly was happening, but the key is its spoon. If only we could... Trainers, we barely got out of there alive. Let's start combing through more case files in hopes of finding a new Paradox to rival it. Of all the cases we've explored over the last year, there's been one Pokemon that's been eluding us. The day Miraidon and Koraidon escaped Area Zero, reports of a third Draconian Pokemon, green in color, came in as well. It's been spotted all over Paldea, but I think it's settled down at the Zero Lab. We found its Pokeball, quite old and destroyed, and once it's pieced back together, we'll get some much needed information to figure out the creature's origin. In the meantime, let's meet with Florian and Fabiana, gifted students turned champs who will meet us at the bottom of the crater with their Winged King and Iron Serpent. I have a feeling they will help bring out our final Paradox.
Dynast Soul.
Combing through countless hours of text, images, and other artifacts, I finally found what I was looking for. A single photo of a Cyclozar standing next to a grumpy old man. Dynast Soul, an anomaly in every sense of the word, is an enhanced and legendary form of Cyclozar, specifically one who had belonged to Heath, the man responsible for introducing and exploring time travel to our community. When we found the creature at Zero Lab, we presented them with their original Pokeball. After all, it represented the bond between Pokemon and human, and Dynast Soul understood we needed its help. Luring Infinite Gene into the time machine, the time-bending powers of Heath's friend was able to activate the reactor one last time, returning Infinite Gene back to its timeline. Sacrificing an opportunity to return to Heath, we will do everything in our power to make sure we give this Pokemon a peaceful life. Right here, right now.
On Professor's orders, Toasty here to assign the question of the day. Which legendary Pokemon would you want to see as a Paradox? Describe them in full for extra credit. Be sure to comment your reply below by end of day. Preoxys, the corrupt Pokemon.
Preoxys began life as a virus before crystallizing its simple form to build a body around it by absorbing and mutating the DNA of species it conquered. This Ultra Beast is capable of turning their victim into a husk in a matter of seconds. Its only purpose in life is to enrich its own form, building up their genetic sequence by fleshing out its weak traits for advantageous new abilities, moves, and typing on a cyclical journey until its crystal is shattered. Amalgamite represents the spirit of progress unchecked in an era lost to time, when people failed to respect Pokemon. This incredibly dangerous Pokemon can use a wide range of moves due to the diverse pool of creatures garishly sacrificed to create it. With its UB spirit intact, its roar is able to open many ultra wormholes around it. If it were ever to break free from its containment device, it could spell planetary destruction as retaliation for its creation.
Mutagen, the apex Pokemon.
Running on a fusion reactor born of artificial, mega, and infinite energy, Mutagen is able to restructure the trillions of nanites that form its chassis into any form it wants, in nanoseconds. It uses a frequency rod that houses a second brain to rewrite its own genetic sequence to forge itself new types, moves, abilities, and stats at will.
Genzaidon, the ever-present Pokemon.
A living anomaly, this creature absorbs sunlight in its chest, converting it into infinite energy that allows it to move forwards and backwards in time for a few seconds per activation. As a result, this Pokemon is in a constant state of flux, and in perpetual need of recharging. It slumbers with a smile, dreaming of its trainer and hopes to reunite with them one day soon.
Registration complete.
Perfect.
Thanks for watching today's episode, trainers. I want to give a shout out to our growing community who helped in so many ways for today's art over at my streams. Don't hesitate to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join us and get sneak peeks at new content in development. I also want to take this time out to show some massive love to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I've been Professor Bohdi, aka Mr. Bonny John.
And I've been Toasty.
Until next time.